Few moments in a competitive first-person shooter feel as good as nailing somebody with a rocket from across the map. It's a satisfaction that comes from knowing that you not only had swift reflexes and precise aim, but that you outthought him and knew exactly where he planned to be before he did. That's the sensation that Shootmania Storm is built around. It appears deceptively simple, but it incorporates some really clever ideas that make it a tense and unique experience, at least for a little while. Fast-paced shooters don't need to have the prettiest graphics in town, but it does need to be said that even maxed out, Shootmania's graphics have nothing on Unreal Tournament 3, and that's a 6-year-old game. Even worse, there are only 2 boring character models included by default. On the bright side, you'll probably get really smooth frame rates, which is crucial in a game like this. Weapon selection is also bland as can be, with only the standard energy rocket, a railgun sniper, and a weird floating grenade launcher thing. The menus are a strange mixture of a tablet-style tile interface and an old-school browser list. It kinda clashes with itself, and it often doesn't work quite right, but I do appreciate a good server browser. It looks like a typical run-and-gun, bunny-hopping arena FPS, but Shootmania has some simple, inventive mechanics that make it play dramatically differently from the likes of Quake and Unreal. The biggest thing is this energy rocket, which is effectively a rocket launcher with no splash damage. You have to score a direct hit on your target with a relatively slow-moving projectile, and that's a feat that takes a lot more skill than hosing somebody down with bullets. At any significant range, it means shooting at where the enemy will be, not where he is. You also have to manage the recharging ammo system, which adds its own dimension to the shooting and encourages hit-and-run tactics you don't see a lot of elsewhere. Another big difference is that instead of pickups, most of Shootmania's modes have you change weapons and heal yourself by standing in specific locations. Of course, all of these rules vary based on which one of Shootmania's 4 unique modes you're playing. Royal mode starts out as a 16-player round-based free-for-all on a large map, but a minute or 2 into each round, a deadly storm closes in. It's a very clever way of keeping the last few players in close quarters combat, but the trade-off is that these final duels almost always end in this bizarre pole dance. Battle mode is a relatively simple team-based point capture game, but because only one team can attack at a time, there's some decent strategy to be had in manipulating the turnover timer. Joust is a one-on-one duel, but limited ammo and alternating reload checkpoints keep it moving fast and furious, with constant ambushes. I love how you have to score 2 consecutive hits to finish an enemy off, too. It makes comebacks common. And finally, Elite mode has 1 attacker trying to get past 3 defenders to capture a point in a brutally difficult game of cat and mouse. These are all great ideas for modes, but even though each is interesting to play for a bit, it's not long before they start to wear thin unless you intend to play competitively. Also, I've had a lot of trouble finding Joust and Elite games to join. Unlike the arena shooters of old, there are no bots to practice against here. I have to doubt that any of the maps currently included are destined to become classics, like Quake 3's Q3 DM17 or Unreal Tournament's Facing Worlds, but most of them are pretty well laid out, symmetrical battlefields with tons of easy escape routes. There's definitely elegance in Shootmania's simplicity, and it is great and refreshing to see some new ideas brought to a genre that's been largely abandoned by the big-name games. It does lack personality and variety in weaponry, though. It feels like it's overly targeted at the competitive gamer crowd, leaving little long-term appeal for everyone else. The included map and modding tools are encouraging, though. The community may well fix this problem for us in time. For more on Shootmania Storm, keep it on IGN.